Good morning, true crime friends. How y'all doing? Listen, this girl is like the Terminator. Every time you think she's gone, she's back again. Yes, I'm talking about none other than Miss Lorivallow. Ugh, the way she irks my spirit. But that's okay. We're going to talk about everything she did recently. She always doing something, always. She gave an interview to a local reporter down there in southern Idaho. Y'all, it is a whole mess. She breaks down what happened in her mind, which in my opinion is not much, after her conviction. And I was like, oh, Jesus, help her. Anyway, we're going to get into it. But first, you know what you need to do. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. That helps other people find us. Also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. Okay, so look. Lorivallow is over there in southern Idaho, right? And she was recently convicted in the unfortunate unaliving of her fourth husband, not to be confused with her fifth husband, Chad Daybell, who's over there on the unalive row, because Chad Daybell, husband number 5, unfortunately unalived his wife and Lori's kids. These are terrible, terrible people. Please, so that you don't think I'm talking about just like a nice Mormon mom and wife, she's horrible. Anyway. So she gives this interview after her conviction last week to Brianna, I don't know, this lady down there in southern Idaho, right? So the reporter comes in and she's like, this is Lori. That flouncing her hair, her horrible makeup, y'all. Those eyebrows, ma'am, welcome to 1984. It was just like a little skinny straight line. No, ma'am. But she has bigger fish to fry than horrible makeup, so we gonna let that be for now. Anyway, Brianna was like, hey girl, hey, were you surprised by the verdict? And she was like, yes. She was surprised. How was she surprised? Girl, okay, first of all, I was like, oh, this is possibly the most shocking thing she could say. Oh boy, was I wrong. The only person who thought she was not going to be convicted was her. Because the rest of us was just watching the train wreck. We was just like, oh, I'm going to do like my southern auntie says. I'm just going to hide and watch. Because clearly this lady is going all the way to jail. Up under the jail. And Lori went on to explain, you see, I've had near-death experiences. And when I went to heaven, ma'am. Let me disabuse you of a little notion. You're not going to heaven. You've never been to heaven. Heaven don't know you. St. Peter is like, oh, girl, you're not on the list. I don't even have to look. I heard about you. You not on the list. But anyway, according to her, she got a real ticklish brain. So she might think anything. So she was like, I had a near-death experience, and when I went to heaven, I learned what's most important, and that's how you treat people, how you respond to things, and the love you give. Ma'am, okay, cool. Listen, did it say when you was in heaven, that you could unfortunately unalive people, and is it loving to unfortunately unalive others? But your reactions, they told you to have no reaction. And she's like, I'm supposed to find joy in every situation. So I'm finding joy. Okay, good for you. So Brianna's like, okay, so why was no family at your trial? And she's like, the state wouldn't let me put on a defense. They insisted that I only ask relevant questions. And I didn't know. It was very confusing to me. You see, I was 46 the first time I got arrested. Don't I look good for 46, girl? You do not. And she was like, I thought the way courts worked is like, you just get up there and you tell your side. But apparently there's all these rules and stuff. They wouldn't let me have hearsay. They wouldn't let me tell the people the things that I made up in my mind that happened. And I couldn't even use Tylee's statement. I mean, just because I unfortunately unalived her, they say that because I got rid of a witness, I can't use the things that she said. It seems very unfair to me. Okay, please know, these are not quotes. I'm just summarizing the spirit of what she said. So then the reporter was like, okay, so then why didn't you just testify? And she was like, humana. See, because if I testified, then the state could respond to the things that I said with like evidence and stuff. And I don't, the state comes in with strategy. You know, the state was not there. They don't know what happened. And so I feel like I should just be able to get up and tell my side, and they can't say anything. They have strategy and evidence, and they save their witnesses and stuff like that. It seems very unfair. I just wanted everybody to come and join me in the fantasy land where I live. And if you could just understand the fantasy in my head, then you would see that I absolutely am innocent and should be set free to go, unfortunately, unalive others at my will. This reporter, bless her heart, she was nonchalant. Lori kept saying nonchalant, 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 which is why I'm wearing my appropriately chalant t-shirt, because this woman, oh my God. But the reporter was absolutely appropriately chalant, because she was just like, oh, every time Lori said something crazy, the reporter was just like, okay. And so then the reporter tells Lori, so listen, we talked to the jurors, and Lori was like, you did? Okay. Oh, tell me every single thing. I want to know what they had to say. And she was like, yeah, the jurors wondered where Tylee was. And Lori was like, oh, I couldn't tell them. Yeah. See, also, you unfortunately unalive Tylee. See how that works? When you take somebody off the playing field, they then can't come to court and testify on your behalf. Too bad for you. And so she said, the reporter tells her, would you have wanted to tell the jurors where Tylee was? And Lori's like, I mean, I feel like they probably knew. How would they have? Okay. So the reporter's like, well, what was it like to see Tylee, like on the video and everything in the courtroom? And Lori was like, well, I mean, it's been nearly 6 years since she's been gone. Say where she went, girl. Say where she went. Say how she got there. Did she take a bus to another town? Please tell us every single thing. She's like, I know Tylee's in heaven and a bunch of stuff happened. It was a domino effect. So Miss Brianna was just like, right. Now you mentioned this domino effect. What is this domino effect that you speak of? Lorivallow Daybell opened her whole foolish mouth and said, it's all Tylee's fault. Now those are not the words she said, but that's the spirit of what she said. She was like, Tylee was like, she was not getting along well with Charles. And so my brother Alex had to come and unfortunately unalive Charles. Not that I had a deceitful, evil plan to unalive Charles and get a bunch of insurance money and then go live with my thumb of a boyfriend up in northern Idaho, Iowa. No. It wasn't that at all. This is all Tylee's fault. And I was like, I need to pause because the Delulu is too much for me. I was like, this happened. So Lori's like, it's hard for me to say what happened. Harder than unfortunately unaliving them folks. I'm asking for myself. And she's like, it was a tragedy. I mean, there are family tragedies all the time. Ma'am, not that often. I mean, yes, there are family tragedies, but the kind where you are involved in the unfortunate, it actually doesn't happen that often. Now, I know that the people that you hang around with down there in the prison, they probably have a whole lot of family tragedies. According to them, none of their fault. According to you, a lot of people had a lot of unfortunate situations involving narcotics and guns and bonking people over the head and hitting them with cars. I don't know what them other people did down there, but something tells me that the folks you hang out with, maybe not the best people. And Lori was like, I couldn't tell my side of the story because, remember what the judge wanted facts and stuff. And it really was not working for me. Plus, I'm not a lawyer. No snot lady. I was like, So the reporter's like, so you're wrongly convicted? She was just like, I would love to tell everybody what happened, but I'm obviously wrongly convicted. Ma'am, you're obviously very, very rightly convicted and very ticklish of the brain. I don't know what's happening in there. All of her squirrels on the little treadmills in her brain, not running all in the same direction, child. It's like herding kittens up in there. I do not know what is going on. Please hold on. I done talk my throat dry. So the reporter's like, okay, so you're not in a court of law right now. You don't have to have facts. We don't care about hearsay. This the news, child. Tell us what happened. Just tell us in your own words. And she's like, I told Colby. Okay, no. Just tell us. You open your mouth with your own words and tell us exactly what happened. You say it was a domino effect. You're alluding to all these things. Could you just use your words and tell us? And she was like, I'm going to save it for my next trial. Okay. Unalive trial number 3. Okay, right. Where you get to be on center stage and you get to be, everybody's looking at you. Oh, the way you love everybody looking at you. You act like it's hard. You know you're going to be convicted. We all know you're going to be convicted. But you just play around in like the little fantasy playland that's in your head. I wonder if, all of this is too much reality invading on her, and maybe she feels overwhelmed. Maybe she should go back to prison where she can be tucked away and she don't have to think that hard, because girl. And so the lawyer was like, what's it like to be, the reporter was like, what's it like to be your own lawyer? She's like, it's hard. I mean, I had to think and stuff, and I had to think on my feet. I really don't have to use my brain that much in prison. Ma'am, I don't want to be rude. You know, I am loath to be rude, but something tells me you were not using your brain that much before prison. So but I don't want to insult you. Or maybe I do want to insult you because you're an absolutely morally reprehensible human being. And I would not say that for just anybody, but for you, Miss Daybell, absolutely morally reprehensible. So Brianna goes on to say, so what was it like to see your brother Adam? Like a little family reunion right up there in court. Oh, isn't that nice for you? And Lori was like, well, I wanted to like joke around with him. And, you know, because my family is real jokey, we don't deal with reality at all. We just, you know, we talk in movie quotes and memes and whatever, you know, we don't, reality is so icky, and I do not like it there. So we just joke, I want to just like coochie coo and tickle him and stuff and have a really good time at my murder trial. Girl. So the reporter was like, oh, okay. What about the enchiladas? And she was like, I know, I can't believe he didn't remember my enchiladas. I mean, I went into lawyer mode, so I was very serious when I spoke about my green chicken chili enchiladas. But I can't believe that he did not remember them. Honey, according to your son, they was nasty. And you use canned chicken. That is a crime against cooking. Canned chicken? Listen, now look, you know I love food. Ladies and gentlemen of the gossip universe, you know I am a big fan of food. Canned chicken is a shame before the Lord unless you're just making a chicken salad or something like that. A chicken and I can't, y'all, I cannot. Anyway, so this is when the reporting started to get real good. Not that it wasn't good before, but the reporter was like, hey girl, hey, I got a little question for you about this Nancy Joe. Were you mad that Charles was dating? And Lori was like, I was surprised. Man, when you out here reading his phone and telling people he was dating other ladies, weren't you super duper mad? She was just like, I didn't know until I got discovery that he was dating other people. It was shocking to me. Look, the shady reporter girl, Brianna, I was here for the shade. She was like, but weren't you cheating with Chad? Oh, so now you just going to be bringing up facts and stuff to the crazy lady. Ooh, it's going to make her mad. She might put a spell on you with her mind or something, Brianna, girl. You better be super duper careful. And Lori was like, it's misunderstood. Chad was my BFF. Okay, I have a BFF and we don't write them nasty, nudie letters talking about the storm and the girl. So she, the reporter's like, so was Charles really a zombie? Like just between me and you girlfriends, was he a zombie or not a zombie? Was he dark? Did he have an evil spirit? Help me understand. Now look, if Lori was in her right mind, well, first of all, if she was in her right mind, we would not be here at all. But if she was in her right mind, she could have come up with something on the fly. You know, like using that brain that she'd been letting rest all this time. She could have been like, well, what I meant by dark was like he had dark energy or he had like bad karma or something like that. She's like, it's misunderstood. So the reporter's like, okay, girl, clear it up. And she's like, oh, we almost out of time. I couldn't possibly clear it up. And then the reporter was like, okay, we getting to the end. Let me start rapid firing these questions. Let me ask the crazy lady some more stuff. So she was like, okay, so what was the Nephi text about? We have to be like Nephi. And Lori was like, it's misunderstood. It just meant be brave. And unfortunately, unalive others, I don't. Ma'am, okay. But I mean, LDS friends, I'm sorry for y'all because she just got your religion out here looking crazy. I'm not LDS. I'm not Mormon. I'm not none of that. But I'm looking at these people like, I'm looking at the LDS friends like, y'all, She just got y'all all up here on the front page of every paper talking crazy. Now folks are over here Googling Nephi. Like, does Nephi mean you can unfortunately unalive others? That is a whole mess. And then Lorivallow Daybell opened her mouth and said the craziest thing I ever heard in my life. She was like, the state is making up stories. Ma'am, projection much? The state is making up stories. Okay. So Lori goes on to explain, Chad had 3 near-death experiences. I had 1. Okay, Chad is having a near-death experience right now over there on the unalive row in northern Idaho. But she was like, we bonded over our holiness. And so when we would talk to each other, we would speak in a holy way so that if you read our text, you wouldn't understand because we're more holy than you. See, everybody thinks I'm a zombie Mormon, but really I'm just like a better than you Mormon. And by you, I mean everybody on the whole planet, like me and Chad and Jesus. We're all BFFs, and we're gonna rule over the universe and judge the whole world. So that's how that's gonna go. Okay. Tell us another fairy tale, Lori. We love fairy tales. Okay, tell us more. And she was just like, So everybody plots against me. Projection, ma'am. Man, I feel like every word out of her mouth is either projection or confession. She's like, everyone's plotting against me the way you were plotting against others, like your children and Tammy Daybell and them last 2 husbands you had before the thumb up there in northern Idaho. Okay. And then the reporter was like, okay, so let's pivot here. Why did it take y'all 45 minutes to call 911? She's like, that was not me. That was Alex's fault. Is anything ever her fault? Like ever? Okay, nothing at all. So finally the reporter was like, do you regret representing yourself? And she was like, no. I was having the best day ever. That's not exactly what she said, but she did say no. She said she was helping others. Oh, this is charity work. Okay, because in the crazy brain that is Lorivallow Daybell, if there's a brain in there at all, I am still unclear. She was just like, I'm helping others. You see, I'm in prison with all these other women. I had a family tragedy. Other people had family tragedies. And I thought, oh, well, you could just go in there and explain to the court what your family tragedy was, and they would just let you walk out. The system seems stacked against people. I mean, I am inspiring women. And so the Lord has put me here for my ministry. You know how much I wanted to stay in heaven, like really, really super duper bad, because I am not fully equipped to be down here on earth with like rules and laws and prison and stuff. It seems very, very unfair to me. Also, I am very pretty, and they don't let me get Botox in prison. It's a crime and a shame. And I was like, heffa. And she was just like, ultimately, this is what you need to understand. At the end of the day, none of this means anything in eternity. So I could be down here on earth and I could do whatever I want, and it doesn't count. It doesn't count for me, because when I was in heaven, I was already told that everything I do is my ministry. So I'm a martyr and I'm suffering for the Lord. And so when I get to heaven, it's all gonna be good. Ma'am, listen. I am not heaven's representative. Heaven knows, you know, I know too, probably because I gossip too much. But something tells me if you died, which I doubt that you did, where you went was not heaven. That was the other dude. You didn't notice it was warm. I know that you like warm places. That's why you spend a lot of time in Hawaii and stuff like that. The dude with the red suit on, the pointy tail, the pitchfork, the horn, you didn't notice him? Red is your color, you said. Oh, maybe that's why you were confused. You were like, oh, I thought this was going to be like clouds and white robes and sandals and stuff. It's nice and warm, just the temperature I like it. You can roast marshmallows over that lake of fire. Everything is good. I think she was just confused. Maybe she was crazy in her near-death experience too. When she was on the other side, she looked around and she's like, this is nice and tropical. I think I'm going to stay here. What, you have commandments for me to keep? Okay, Satan, let me go on and do these commandments. So then the heifer came back, and now she's just doing the devil's work. Because look, that's the gospel according to Kathy. I don't have no facts here. This is a fact-free zone. You know that, otherwise you wouldn't have clicked on a channel called Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo. You're not here for facts, F-A-C-T-S. You're here for facts, F-A-X. Stuff I heard. Stuff I'm going to whisper into your ear. You could go tell your friends, y'all. This Lori Vallow is a whole mess. We gonna put her on pause. Lord, the way I want to be done with this lady. I mean, it's her next trial or whatever. But I don't know who we're covering next. I have to look out here in these true crime streets and see who's out here so we can talk about them. I mean, so I can bring you the good news of who's doing what, to whom, and for whom. I will talk to you soon. Bye.